Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mitchell back here on the MISportsTalk YouTube channel. It's really good to see you guys again. I have not been on for a very long time. I've really been busy with a lot of things this year, getting married this summer and finding new jobs, a lot of other things. But I'm going to really step up on this video while I'm on Christmas break, so I'm going to do a lot of cool content throughout the time. And today's topic is bowl mania. The bowl games. I know it's a late one and it's my late picks, but it's 4 or 5 days into bowl season, and I'm gonna update you with the picks, including the spread on who I'm gonna take. There's been a lot of good bowl games so far. There's been many good upsets. So, and then I also got the Marshall game right now. I'm just doing it on Capital One Bowl Mania, so I'm kind of keeping track there for them. So, right now we have a game between Eastern Michigan 8-4 between Eastern Michigan and San Diego State, who is 7-4. I will have to take Eastern Michigan because Eastern Michigan has played much better in recent memory in bowl games last few years, and I like what the MAC has been doing when they upset a really good school. So San Diego State, for them to upset them would be very good. So I'm gonna take them. But San Diego State would cover the spread because the spread's 4.5. That's quite a bit of a margin there. Next is the Boca Raton Bowl. Liberty and Toledo. I will take Toledo as well, so the MAC will go 2-0 tonight in my prediction. And then Toledo is also favored by 3.5 because they kind of have a little more experience than 8-4 Liberty, so I will take Toledo. Next, the RNL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. This is usually the one Louisiana Monroe is literally in every year, and I cannot believe it's not on a Saturday. It's usually an 11 a.m. start on a Saturday on ESPN, but this year it's on December 21st at 8 o'clock. Western Kentucky and South Alabama. I will take South Alabama, even though Western Kentucky's kind of underrated. I gotta take South Alabama due to their record, and they haven't been in many bowl games lately. Next, the Lockheed Armed Forces Bowl. Air Force and Baylor. I will take Baylor because Baylor has a little more experience, and they're a very underrated 6-6 team, and they could have easily knocked off a win against TCU, and TCU would have been able to play off if they beat them, and that was the six win kept them in the bowl season. So they barely were in bowl season. So with their season being kind of down, I think they'll win the game. They'll win the game, and it was 6.5 for favorites, but now they're down to 4.5 for favorites. But I gotta take Baylor to get that one done. Next, for Thursday, December 23rd, we have Louisiana 6-6 versus Houston. I will take Houston. The Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl is Wake Forest and Missouri. That's a very highly underrated game for a Thursday right before Christmas Day. Missouri I will take because they are 6-6. They barely got into a bowl game, and I think kind of it's going to be a neck and neck one. But I got to take Missouri, going with a lot of upsets so far. EC Point Hawaii Bowl. I wish it was a Sheraton Hawaii Bowl. I don't get some of these sponsors. It's really all about money. So. Back to the topic, Middle Tennessee and San Diego State. I will take Middle Tennessee. Even though San Diego State's a 7-point favorite on Monday, there's 1.5 opening line. So, 1.5 means pretty much the winner is the winner between who you're going to pick. Next is New Mexico State against Bowling Green on ESPN at 2:30 in Detroit. The spread is 3.5 Bowling Green, and I will take New Mexico State to pull up their second bowl win in team and school history. December 27th, the Surf Pro First Responders Bowl between Georgia Southern and Buffalo. I will take Buffalo. The Ticket Smarter Birmingham Bowl, I got to take Utah State. The Camilla Bowl, Coastal Carolina and East Carolina. I got to take Coastal Carolina. I'm liking a lot of upsets this year. 8 points, but it could be a really close game. And I think Coastal's really due for a bowl win here. And then another game on December 27th will be Wisconsin and Arizona State at 10:15 Eastern. It's in Phoenix, Arizona. I will take Oklahoma State, and Wisconsin's a 3-point favorite, but they want to end Jim Leonard's career well with a win. So there's a lot to play for Wisconsin to end their fairly 50-50 type of season before Luke Fickell gets started there. Perriton Military Bowl, UCF and Duke. I will take Duke. The Liberty Bowl between Kansas, and Kansas had a really good start to the year. They started out 3-0, but then they started to fall flat a little bit. They will play Arkansas. I have to go right. I have to go correct on this one, and I got to take Arkansas. And Arkansas is really due with head coach not Brett Bielema, but with their current head coach, I think they're due to really win a good bowl game like the Liberty Bowl. That's a decent bowl for both those 6-win teams and representatives. Next, the Holiday Bowl, the San Diego Credit Holiday Bowl. Number 15, Oregon and North Carolina. And North Carolina under Mac Brown has really been struggling. I'm surprised they're in this good of a bowl game with 4 losses, but they lost a lot of really, really close games by 3 points or 7 points. So I got to take Oregon, though, but I think North Carolina will cover the spread. So I got to take North Carolina to cover the spread. But Oregon will win because this is a lower tier bowl for them. But those are 2 big bloods of college football. So, yep, they're primary names in college football. So I got to at least take Oregon. But North Carolina will cover the spread because they're going to have at least a little bit to play for. The Tax Act Texas Bowl is Texas Tech and Ole Miss. I will take Ole Miss, and they're also a 3.5 favorites, so I got to take them. Thursday, December 29th. Then next we have the Moore's Pinstripe Bowl between Syracuse and Minnesota. I would love to see the Big Ten continue to win it, so I got to take Minnesota to cover it. I think they're gonna win by 15. This is a really good bowl game for Minnesota for not being in a New Year's Day Bowl. I'm gonna take them to win the Pinstripe Bowl. The Cheez-It Bowl between Florida State and Oklahoma State. I will take Florida State. And I think Florida State will also cover because I don't think Oklahoma State can really cover, even though they had a really big win against Oklahoma this year. I don't think they can beat Florida State, and Florida State had a much better year compared to last year. So I gotta take Florida State to continue their run by winning their bowl game. Next, Washington and Texas, ESPN. Texas is favored, so I gotta take Texas and as number 20 to win it. So, and then the Mayo Bowl between number 23 NC State and Maryland. I got to take Maryland, and they're a 1-point favorite. So whoever wins the game, you pretty much get right. Next, we have the Sun Bowl between UCLA and Pittsburgh. I absolutely have to take UCLA, and I think it's a lot more than 3.5 in my mind. It's 5.5 because they're a little bit better than Pittsburgh. But this could be a really good matchup, and it could be neck and neck because Pittsburgh will have a lot to play for. Next, we have the TaxSlayer.com Gator Bowl between South Carolina and Notre Dame. Notre Dame I will take because they're a 2.5 favorites, and they ended the season really well after losing to Toledo in the beginning of the season, and Ohio State. After starting out 0-2, they had a decent 8-4 season. That's a good bowl for them to start 0-2 and getting upset at home against Toledo. That they're in this type of bowl game. In the Arizona Bowl, I will take Ohio to continue the MAAC success in the bowl season. And I gotta go with an upset here. Not Auburn, but Clemson is number 7. But I'm going with an upset. I'm gonna take Tennessee because I think Tennessee is due for a really, really, really good bowl win. This could be a very big game, and it could come down to the end easily. And I think also even if Clemson does win, I think Tennessee will cover it because I think they're really going to be ready for this big of a bowl game. It's really their national championship for being in a New Year's Six Bowl. Next, we had the Music City Bowl. It's on ABC at noon. It's noon Eastern time, Iowa and Kentucky. Unfortunately, I have to take Kentucky because I think the SEC is going to beat the Big Ten a little bit in bowl season, so I'll take Kentucky. The Sugar Bowl. I gotta take Kansas State. It is time where Alabama loses a meaningless bowl game. They were close to losing a meaningless bowl game for them in 2020 when Michigan was keeping them a game in Florida in the Buffalo Wild Wings Citrus Bowl. But no, the Verbal Citrus Bowl, but it was formerly Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. But I think Kansas State's gonna win, and I think they're really due. And with Alabama really struggling, and their recruiting wasn't that good this year. I think it's time for Kansas State to win, and I gotta take them to cover the spread regardless. Even if Alabama wins by a field goal, I think easily that Kansas State will at least cover the spread easily. The really Quest Bowl between Mississippi State and Illinois, I will take Mississippi State. And Mississippi State's is a 2 favorites. They went up from 1.5 to 2. The Cheez-It Citrus Bowl between LSU and Purdue, I will take LSU, but Purdue will cover because 14.5 is a big margin, so I will take LSU. Next, in the Cotton Bowl, USC and Tulane, I will take Tulane. And Tulane, I would love to see Tulane win. This is the Super Bowl for them to be in this type of bowl game, and that they got selected is really cool. And the 12-team playoff in a couple of years is going to be fantastic and phenomenal to watch. Next, we have the Rose Bowl, the last consolation game of bowl season. Utah and Penn State. I first was thinking about Utah, but I think Penn State has a little more. I think Penn State has a little bit more depth, and I think their quarterback play and their running game has become explosive. Besides their losses to Michigan and Ohio State, and I think Penn State will be the Rose Bowl champions. Lastly, we had the college football playoff. We have TCU and Michigan. TCU is not favored. Michigan is favored by 7.5, so I got to take Michigan, but TCU to cover. And then Ohio State and Georgia. I think Georgia's going to cover the spread by 9.5, and Georgia's going to win. And then in the final game, Michigan and Georgia, 1 versus 2. It can't be a better game than that. The rematch of the college football playoffs in that final last year. I think Georgia will win, but they'll only win by 6 because Michigan's going to give them a much better game. I think as a Michigan fan, they're going to give them at least a much better game than they did last year for some close redemption at least. So go Blue for all Michigan fans out there. Thank you so much for listening in, and see you all soon for more coverage. And I'm going to keep updating you on reactions on what I think about bowl games, and I really think it's a fun time of year. So also happy holidays, and we'll see you next time. Bye.